Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show, the HHW Show podcast. I have with me the CEO of Clovercrest Media, the man, Joe Aguirre. Joe, thank you for coming on this special day today.
I am honored to be here. Thank you for having me. I know we got a lot to cover here tonight, so I'm excited. I'm excited. There's a lot to talk about.
Very, a lot, and I'm sure that you are on and off tuning into the road to SummerSlam amongst other podcasts that you have growing as we speak. Over what is it, over 40, 45 podcasts right now that
Yes, sir.
Clovercrest Media has. So to take the time and I could always go back, and for those of you that don't know, last Sunday was the HHW show's podcast birthday, and I couldn't be proud that we're going on 4 years strong. And the person that helped me and the crew, because I got to give credit to where it's due, with Jace, who is not, he's here, he's around doing other podcasts, but Joe, you're the man to guide us in the right direction. So I want to say thank you.
Well, again, it's my pleasure, and it's been an honor to work with you. One of the hardest working people in the business, as far as I'm concerned, and I do try to tune into this show from time to time. And my observation is, Ovi's there for the smart fan, the analytical fan who's looking to kind of break it down. And then, of course, your sidekick Victor, a little more analytical. He kind of looks at it from a different eye. And then, of course, there's Frank. Frank is there for the idiots who think this is all real.
Oh man, Frank will be here later on in the show.
I
Uh,
always look forward to interacting with Frank. It's a chance to flex the brain, you know.
right, right,
You don't get
and
to do that with a lot of people, Ovi, but that's one of our guys.
yeah, he's our stats guy, and sometimes I scratch my head. Where do statistics go? Where's it trending? But I also got to thank those that were able to be in our show as well. Our special guests, which I have a video clip of them. But first, I like to go back from the very beginning till now. It's a 30-second clip of our introduction, and I reflected back to when I started making these intros, and I scratched my head and be like, why did I do this? God's earth? Why did I make such a thing? All right. And you warned me. You warned me in school. And for those who don't know, Joe was my instructor at Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Is that when you reflect back to where you start and you're
Yep.
left scratching your head, why?
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
as you always said, is that you take it each day and you try to perfect it every day. And that's the only way you're going to get better. So check out my the HHW show intros. So that beginning with the logo going in circles, it left me scratching my head like, why? I did leave out the part where the fire blew and everything else. I was being creative.
This is what happens when you learn something new. You learn how to spit a graphic, and it's like, I'm
Right.
doing that in my next video.
And then it only lasts for a short while. I'm taking this out of here.
I gotta
Oh,
say, you are, and people should know this about you. I mean, you're a bit of a
mhm.
perfectionist. You really are. You put a lot of work into everything that you do, more so than most other people do. I got to tell you, and I find it very impressive. I'm sure it's got a lot to do with your military background, but you are always working on making the presentation of this show as well as the football show we do all four downs. You're always working to up the game, up the ante a little bit, take it next level. And I hope that the folks that watch your shows week in and week out can appreciate that you don't half-ass any of what you're doing here,
Yeah, I
you
appreciate
know?
that.
And as much as Frank seems like a half-assed effort, don't be fooled, people. I can't wait till he gets here. Is he
I
listening
know.
right now? Is he hearing all this?
He should be on his way to try to get to his home studio.
He's in his
Um,
car right now driving,
pro-
listening to this and
yeah, he'd be
screaming,
like, "Damn more," but
"Wait till I get on there."
it's unique at how we started. And again, during the class with me and Big Jace, had this idea to do the hard hitting wrestling show, and we started off and stuff like that. And of course, things happen when people drift away. And Jace, if you're listening, because I know we're live, um, please come back, man, because you are missed. Um, and it was no harm, no foul, nothing like that. It's just when you have jobs, you have other issues, when you have other things going on that you can't commit all the time every week, and so I totally understand. But this show could not have happened without Jace, and I'm so grateful for Jace to help us start from where we're at. Hector, this is the preacher. We call him the preacher. You
Real
know,
quick, let's
go
be
ahead.
clear about Jace Garcia, the great
Hmm.
Jace. Jace is a classic case of a fat guy who liked to podcast, loved his sports, lost a couple of LBs, got a girlfriend, and now doesn't have as much time to his. I kid you not. Mr. Jace done well for himself, and that's
Yeah.
really, if we're being honest here, and
Hmm.
I think wrestling fans of any audience can appreciate this situation. This guy's getting laid. That's pretty much where he is right now. And so
Big
all the
shout out
best to
to the
Jake.
Tim King show, man. He says, "What's going on, fellas?" Reminiscing, man. 4 years in the making right now in the HHW Show podcast, and thank you. He is the Bloodline Network that I am now the writer as part of the Bloodline Sports Network, and can't wait to continue doing more projects with them, as well as here at the HHW Show podcast. Joe, you hit it out of the park, man. I mean, you go back into time when you finally settle down and stuff, and the things that we normally have done, and now we're not doing that so much after all because you got to take care of the queen or the future queen for Jace there. So,
Yeah.
um, Hector, the preacher. We mentioned about Frank. You should be coming on later on the show with his stats, but you know what?
Where is
Overall, we
Victor?
all we all have overtime, man. Overtime. Work is a priority. So you gotta make that money. Gotta make that money.
So your Victor's missing out on the 4-year anniversary show.
I know, and he's dealing with 105-degree temperature there in Texas too.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
that's
my
nah, yeah,
goodness
absolutely.
gracious.
But hey, other videos and other people that been in our show, I would like to take time. I know it's a couple of minutes, but these people that came to the show gave their input, and we always learning here in the HHW Show podcast. So please check this out.
Take good care of yourself. Self-love is so important, and it's more than just like taking a bubble bath and stuff. It's like really reflecting on your life and what you're doing and the choices you make. And
when I'm in Brighton, just with my friends, having a good time and whatnot, and they took a photo of me.
I want you to be thankful, be grateful, and make sure you pay it forward for everybody who's around. Make sure you spread love as much as possible, and make sure that you do your best to keep your word and honor those around you. Fail forward and fail often. That's the key to success.
Highly enjoyed that introduction. Without you, I wouldn't be in the position that I am in today. I know a lot of other people are currently going through some of the hardest times. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to still provide, entertainment for you guys in these difficult times. Stay strong. Try to stay safe, stay healthy.
You got a way. There's a way. For you people that want to, all that mental health that you want to think that you want to kill yourself, man, that's not the way. There's always somebody out here that, we out here. Y'all can hit me up. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can hit me up on Messenger. Never give up.
Keep your head high. Keep your heart full. Keep that passion driving.
We are an organization focused on embracing. We have so many different ethnicities. I think we had 7 languages represented with our first show. So ages, races, sizes. I mean, all of these women are beautiful athletes. The one thing they have in common is they're, top caliber athletes.
But it just goes down to that, like just that perseverance that you can just never bow to the circumstances, the negativity, never bowing to the negativity, whether it being brought to you by a person or a group of people or by something, some kind of challenge in life or anything like that.
There's only one thing in this world that matters, and that is sweet victory.
And there you have it, man. I got to thank all those special guests for being on our show. And the one clip I did not put in there was the Hall of Famer Tito Santana. So, and Frank, you're back, buddy.
Hey, I told you 15 minutes, right? I'm on time.
Yeah, you on time, right?
You're
being roasted by Joe.
Yeah, there's nothing like Frank showing up 10 minutes late, usually to his own show. That's a staple of what you can expect from Frank. It'll be good, but it'll also be about 10 minutes after you thought it was coming. Frank, I don't know if you heard what I was saying earlier. I was talking about sort of the characters here on this show. And I talked to you're here for the people who think wrestling is real, right? I mean,
of course, it's real.
Yeah, that's who you are. You're the guy. You're there for them, and that's important, and that's what the people need. By the way, and I'm sorry that you didn't air the clip of our interview with Tito Santana, because as you'll recall, okay, I said to Tito Santana, I asked him a question. Do you remember when I asked him? I said, who's the current WWE champ? And my point was, the days of the WWE champion being a household name, right? From Hulk Hogan all the way up through, I'll even give you Roman Reigns, for Christ's sake. That's how far I'm willing to go. It was, what was it? Joey McIntyre?
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, Joey McIntyre was from the New Kids on the Block.
No, my God, stop. Stop. You
Yeah.
know what happens? You know what
That's
happens
exactly
when you do things on that show like that?
So
I do it, Frank.
Go for it.
There
we
we go.
This is what happens.
Get
when
him
you
out of
pull a
here.
Frank. He just pulled a Frank.
It's been a while. It's been a while since you iced me.
Oh,
But
there you go.
I said to Tito Santana, I said, Tito, do you know who the current WWE champion is? And he said, no. And then he said, wait a minute. Yeah, I think I do. What's his name? And I said, it doesn't matter what his name is. I did The Rock to Tito Santana. And I got to tell you, that's one of the greatest moments in this show's history. And I'm sorry, you guys got to be there, which was awesome.
You know what's awesome is for me to find him and for him to agree to come on the podcast. I was like, oh my God, we just talked about Tito, how he was your favorite superstar. And here I am, our second guest, really. He was our second guest of our show. And wow, what an experience. And of course, he's used to being with all the interviews. He made us more relaxed and everything else. But it was tremendous. I even liked the way where we were talking. He had a phone call and he admitted saying he still had a landline. That was hilarious. Um,
Yeah, you did.
but
Real
go
quick
ahead.
too, you guys don't know this. So I do one of the many podcasts that I do is Crimes, Conspiracies, and Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, because I talk about you guys to them all the time, because you guys are such lovable characters, and they're
No,
always asking
appreciate
about
it.
like some of the other shows, and I'm like, so I was telling them a little bit about you guys, and I at one point had mentioned how we talked to Tito Santana, and I mentioned that, I was like, oh, he asked me to do the interview, and I'm not a big wrestling guy anymore, and I was so thrilled that you asked me to be in on that interview. Just so everybody knows, Ovi's always nervous when he does interviews. And then he does the like best interview. And it's like, dude, what? But if that means you're going to cut me in on the action, I'm going to take it. Right. Like, cause I'm your mentor or whatever. I'm just happy to squeeze in. But because I told him that story, you guys know I had a heart attack last October,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
I'm fine now. I have to send this to you, Ovi. They got a cameo, and it's Tito Santana. And he basically tells me to stop being a little bitch. Heart attack or no heart attack, get off your ass and get moving. It is, it was as almost as much of an honor as being on this show tonight.
You know what? It's always an honor to have you on the show, and especially when we do have celebrities that come on and everything else. You the man, and you know what? You're like that medicine. Like we're all like nervous with the butterflies, and we're doing a little dance, and then you come in, and we're like, "Oh, Joe's here. We got this now."
I'm a calming force.
Yes, yes, you are.
Oh yeah, very.
But you know what? With that comes, it comes with judgment, though. It really does. And that is our topic for today. All right. SummerSlam is a few weeks away. And the Judgment Day is on the rise. And of course, there's a faction of the Judgment Day, and the fact that there are a lot of scenarios going on, a lot of issues in Raw and SmackDown that we have to address. And the takeaway will be Shotzi, especially when we're talking about anti-bullying and stuff like that. Real talk. We're gonna talk about what's going on with her and as a character, as well as the real deal behind the scene. And it's of course, we have our champions Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, but that Money in the Bank briefcase is still out there, owned by Damian Priest. So which one will he go for to cash in? Will he cash it in SummerSlam? Who knows? But hey, we're gonna start it off with first here. And congratulations to Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. They are the new women's tag team champions. Frank, I knew it all along, and I said it last week in our show that the titles are going to change because it's not so much about these two, it's about Raquel and Rhea Ripley.
Definitely. I mean, I don't like these two as champions. Chelsea Green, as they call her now, but it is what it is.
Man, I'm not, the name is all good and everything else. As a matter of fact, this match was kind of solid. It's probably one of their best matches instead of being all goofy and being a jobber. But they really earned it. But they had help because, and you can see Triple H congratulating them always whenever there's a new champions. But if it wasn't for this, Rhea Ripley stepped up, and I think she prematurely, she did give him a warning. She said 3 strikes you're out, like she was gonna do something, but she went and did anyway. She got into Raquel's face, and that's what happened. She injured her left knee, and I think that if Raquel wasn't injured, they would have still be tag team champions.
Oh, for sure. That's a no brainer. Raquel is a beast. Okay, and if with her being with Liv Morgan, them as a team, they work really, really good together. The fact that Rhea Ripley kicked her in the knee, hurt her knee, well, she wasn't okay to wrestle. Okay, well, But as a true champion, she went out there and they got their asses kicked.
That's all you can be, right? Try to be the champion that you can be. And there was a lot of beef going on, and I could see that with Raquel not in the picture, I could see Liv Morgan going after Rhea Ripley, which I don't think that she's going to gain at anything, but she wants redemption and want revenge on her. But I got a feeling that this is going to be a booked match for SummerSlam.
Yeah, but I don't see Liv Morgan doing anything out of it. Liv Morgan is going to get her pretty face smashed in.
What do you think, Joe? You have your best friend getting whooped by the enemy, and your friend can't fight, and you're it. Think you can handle your business?
Listen, I don't know who this blonde-haired chick is here, but
that's Liv Morgan.
Okay,
That's
Liv
Liv Morgan.
Morgan. I was a big Trish Stratus fan. Again, I haven't been following wrestling so tight the last years. This gal is this is reason to be watching. Yikes! Who is she? Liv Morgan?
Liv
Yeah,
Is
Morgan.
she any good?
Oh,
she's
I
real
gotta
good.
tell you,
She's really good now.
Real
Yeah.
quick, by the way, when you ran your retrospective video there on the guest that you have, I wanted to, when you finished the video, I was going to ask a question. Did anybody know what Jenny Santana was wearing on her head?
Nope, I wasn't looking there at
Why?
all.
You
Didn't
can't
think
ask
so.
Frank-
Why did you get me
can't ask
started?
Frank that.
Sorry, Frank. Frank, I knew you had to be. As I was watching that, I thought, if I was Frank, what would I be thinking right now? I know what I'm
No,
thinking.
he already admitted it on the show. you
Yeah.
know, and so
That had to
I wanted to
be
be nosy.
very distracting.
yeah.
I was very distracted. I even asked her to come on my show, but she never did.
Well,
You know?
she knew that you were being distracted. So
I wonder
I
if
was very distracted.
when you
But I
said
think
come on
Joe
your
got
show.
distracted with Liv Morgan there for a minute. There.
Yeah,
Joe
well-
just look real close there.
I'm surprised that there are not more banging hotties that are doing wrestling.
oh, there is.
I mean, I would think
There is.
because I'm looking at this other creeper on the other side here with the
Rhea
who is
Ripley?
this Boy George or whoever that's supposed to
Oh,
be.
don't let that look fool you, my friend.
Let
I'm
me
gonna tell you
tell you,
that right
if
now.
you
Do
would've
not
seen her a
let
couple
the
years
makeup
ago-
fool you. Because I could go ahead and off the show, I could give you some pictures and you'd be like, okay, I stand corrected. Believe me. Believe me. See, don't judge because then you're going to be judged.
Yeah, you could judge me. That's fine.
It's the
I'll take
judgment day. It's on
Blondie.
the
you
rise,
take-
baby.
I'll take Blondie. You take Wednesday Adams. That's fine. We're good
Real
with that.
Ripley, part of the Judgment Day, and somebody else that's part of the faction Judgment Day is here we go. We got Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, man. He is determined to win that world title and be with Judgment Day and just fashion it off and stuff like that. But 7 years, and it started in the inauguration of the Universal title. And Finn Balor did defeat Seth Rollins, but had to relinquish it because of the shoulder injury. 7 years later, they're back. And once again, he's trying to get that world title. And, you know, Seth Rollins he said it best yesterday on Raw. It's not about you. It's about the title. It's more than the title. But again, Finn Balor, he doesn't care. Right. And this is a locked match for SummerSlam. And I can't wait because I think this match here is going to steal the show. It really is.
Yeah. But remember one thing: you have Damian Priest in the background. Even though they're saying, "Hey, my beef is not with you," there's going to be a problem there. Watch.
I don't think there's going to be a problem. I mean, let's put it this way. Let me start off with what Hector's point of view is. He said Finn Balor is making a bold statement on why he should be champion. However, he feels that Rollins will walk away at SummerSlam as champion because the briefcase belongs to Priest. Bayley will either not allow him to cash in or Rollins or cost him the briefcase, causing Priest to turn on the Judgment Day. I believe that if it all goes well, that Finn Balor has a chance to win. And I think he would have won if it wasn't for Damian Priest to stand up and get close to the ring. Because the first time he should have finished Seth Rollins off. I believe he still will. And the thing is, and I wrote an article about this, is that Judgment Day are claiming that they rule WWE. They're not just rule Monday Night Raw. They rule WWE. And if should Finn Balor win that title, Damian Priest is going over to SmackDown and take that title away from Roman Reigns. I know there's a lot of strong possibilities there. It really is.
That might happen. I
It
think I
can.
could agree with that comment. I think that but then, when you do that, you split Judgment Day.
And again, another person could fill in that void for Damian Priest, JD McConnell, because he was in a back and behind the scenes
That's the
talking
clown that
to
they were.
Finn Balor, right?
Mhm.
Right. So why not that Finn Balor is trying to recruit more people for Judgment Day? So, and as you can see here, that discussion, this is what made it official for SummerSlam, is that Finn Balor didn't wait for Seth Rollins to state what he had to say. He addressed him in person, and he didn't like what he heard, and boom, Finn Balor attacks and assaults Seth Rollins. And of course, just like any other WE scenario, you always have one that's going to assault the other to form a fight. And so we're going to have a fight on August 5th. Moving on, and you speaking about Damian Priest, look at them hugging each other out. You know, Finn Balor even speaking in Spanish, man. How about that, huh?
Yeah, that was funny to hear.
But you know
All
what,
they
though?
said, "Ganar."
I do believe that they do have a lot of love for each other. I just don't see Damian Priest backstabbing Finn Balor.
Why not? It's entitled.
Because he had many opportunities to do so, and he kept saying, dude, I don't have a problem with you. You just have issues with Finn Balor. You need to solve that, because he's being distracted. But he always said he always had backup. What does backup mean? If Finn Balor doesn't win, then Damian Priest will be the champion after SummerSlam.
Oh, that Damian Priest will be a champion at the SummerSlam? Definitely.
Yes.
One way, shape, or form.
No, I did say that he might take Roman Reigns' title. A lot of people don't agree with me, but surprises are always surprises. But what's not a surprise is the bloodline here. Roman Reigns will defend his title against Jey Uso. And this family business, this is 2 years, Joe. 2 years storytelling that's always fresh each and every week between the Usos, Roman Reigns, Solo. Man, it's just phenomenal that these guys are able to still perform. Now, could you imagine a storyline back in the 80s or the early 90s to last 2 years long?
That's pretty wild.
Pretty wild indeed. And yet again, they just make it fresh every time. There's always something, if it ain't the trust between the Usos. I mean, then you can add the tag team champions, Kevin Owens and oh
Sami
my god,
Zayn.
Sami Zayn. I mean, Sami Zayn, he did a phenomenal job just to really get into Roman Reigns' circle, cause chaos, and get out, and then still handle his business.
Well, that was about a year storyline, more or less.
Right. That right there. He always said a conspiracy, but they dropped the conspiracy, tagged along with Roman Reigns, and next thing you know, you got this debacle of the bloodline falling apart. So I'm looking forward for this. This is definitely the main event of SummerSlam right here. But do you think, and I'm going to ask you this, do you think that this person here coming up, will he show up? Will The Rock show up at SummerSlam?
For what?
Ah, man, come on, man. What do you mean for what? That's The Rock. He's
not,
part of the family. He's part of the bloodline.
That's fine, but he has nothing left to do. He's done it all in WWE. Yeah,
not all.
He's part of his family. What's he gonna do? Be a referee?
Is he really?
Who
is the real tribal chief?
Rikishi.
Wow.
Oh, You think Rikishi? You think Rikishi's
He's
gonna
the
make
he's
that
the
presence?
he's the oldest guy that can make the presence and beat somebody down still. Not
Or
saying
you
the
think
Rock can't,
he's gonna
but he's
dance his
older.
way in the ring and use his booty to hammer somebody against the turnbuckle?
Why not? The stink face.
Well, I do believe that The Rock will show up at SummerSlam. One, there is a protest going on in Hollywood. No one's making movies. The writers are on strike, right? The actors, they want benefits and everything else, the whole shebang and everything. So no one's really making movies. So it gives time for The Rock to say, you know what, let me move over here and holler at the WWE, see what's going on. But he ain't gonna go for Roman Reigns. Oh, no, no, no. He won't do that. He's gonna go after this guy, Grayson Waller.
LA Knight. Oh no,
So
sorry.
Grayson Waller, he already tried to mess around with John Cena and he got the attitude adjustment. He went after Edge, but got speared. Those are the top two, all right, already. Now you add The Rock to the list, okay? As you can see, he was at Madison Square Garden and he was wearing whatever outfit that The Rock used to wear when he debuted at Madison Square Garden, okay? I don't know what year that was, but there he is making fun of The Rock. And every week on SmackDown, he's always has something to say about The Rock. Okay. Now he's imitating him. What does that mean? The Rock is coming
The
to
Rock's gonna
SummerSlam.
show up. No, you know
Absolutely.
what? Now that you put it that way, The Rock will show up and take care of this guy. That's a different scenario.
But I think he will flirt. There's got to be a scene when The Rock looks at Roman Reigns. There's got to be. How can you get so close and not do nothing? I'm just saying.
That just brings up more storytelling.
Here's another one. Matter of fact, that was July 15th. That was a gift. Him doing one of these. All right. He's already, like I said, not only on TV, but also on social media, making fun of The Rock. So I'm just saying he's going to get rock bottom. That's what he's asking for. All right. On the other hand, do you think that Paul Heyman turn his back on Roman Reigns if Roman Reigns does not succeed in SummerSlam and gets this guy? Joe, you know who this guy is, right? You've seen his father wrestle.
Yeah. This is Steiner's kid. Is that right?
Yeah, the Steiner
No
brothers.
way.
Remember that tag team?
Yeah, of
So
course.
his
yeah.
son is in NXT, and it's here, quote, I would say Rick Steiner's kids got the best chance.
He looks
I
just
think
like
he
his
has the
dad.
Oh, absolutely. And I think he got a better chance to moving up. And Paul Heyman always have a Paul Heyman guy by his side. I wouldn't be surprised he snatches him up.
What is Paul Heyman's got to be like? What, 80? How old is he? He's been around for, my goodness. I mean, I feel like I was a kid when he first popped up.
Right. He owned ECW, sold it to Vince McMahon, and then been doing business ever since. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was like 40 years ago. How old was he when that happened? I mean, this guy's got to be a million years old.
Yeah, he had hair back then with a long tail. Ain't that
right.
what you had also? Oh, once again, Damian Priest is the Money in the Bank holder. He won it at the premium level, and again, it's just waiting to see if he's going to cash in or not. And what he cashing in on Seth Rollins, which is 90%, but I still have a gut feeling that he could flirt around against Roman Reigns. But it doesn't seem logical, of course. I know this, but it could be possible. It will. And this is the Judgment Day family. You see, they're laughing. And that is the moment where they did say that they were going to rule the WWE. So, what success have they have? Again, Damian Priest, Money in the Bank winner. Dominic Mysterio is having a match today as we're alive during NXT for the North American Championship in NXT. Finn Balor is trying to chase the world title against Seth Rollins, and Rhea Ripley is the women's world champion, which probably and most likely going to defend against Liv Morgan at SummerSlam.
Can I guess that Dominic Mysterio is somehow related to Rey Mysterio?
That is
That's
his
his
son.
sir.
Come on. There's a lot of sons getting it done, huh?
And remember, he was part of that gimmick where they had the feud with Eddie Guerrero. Remember that time that he was like, "I'm your father." Like, who's your father? That was him when he was a little kid.
It's funny because this kid actually looks like Eddie Guerrero, if
Oh
I'm
my
being
God.
honest. Doesn't he?
Don't
Well,
start.
he started to
I'm not
sport the
even
look.
playing, dude. If I
Again,
didn't know,
He's
I'd be
he's
like,
already judging him. Look at
got to
that.
be Eddie Guerrero's kid, I think. I mean, maybe put him in a mask. Maybe in a mask he looks more like his dad, but I don't know.
Correct.
No.
But that's the thing, that he's sporting the Eddie Guerrero look. That's what it
Yes.
is.
Well, he always does that little shake when he's on top of the ropes. So, and he
I
stole his
love
move
that.
with the suplex. All right.
The three
So
amigos.
check this out. Now, I put this by purpose because I feel, and it should happen for the next WrestleMania that's going to be held in Philadelphia. And here's a quote: "If Roman was doing what I'm doing, there wouldn't really be a need for a secondary championship. I'm a fighting champion. He is not." Seth Rollins. I'm putting this here. So I'm reminding you, Frank, and you could tell Hector and everything else. Maybe I'll just save this clip. I should. And say, this is a WrestleMania 40 moment. It's going to happen. Yay or nay?
What? Nah, I don't think WrestleMania moment. Why not just Clash of Champions, where you have? No, I'm sorry.
These are the top two superstars
the
in
Thanksgiving
WWE,
one.
and you're gonna you won't use the WrestleMania platform,
No,
the biggest stage,
because then you're going title for title,
but they
and
won't have the
what about
title.
that?
They're not gonna have title for title. If it happens,
If
one of
they
them
don't
will
have the
be,
title,
or
then why
neither
have
one
it
of
as a
them.
WrestleMania moment? Why not have it for the Thanksgiving one, the Survivor Series, where you
Well,
go
let me
brand
ask
against
you.
brand?
Maybe, but when you come to just two superstars, look at the Undertaker. The Undertaker didn't need a belt, and look what happened. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. That was better than the main event. You see what I'm saying? That could happen.
Well,
That's
I'm
what I'm
not saying
saying.
it can't happen.
Either one of them's champion
Wait,
or no champion at all.
Are you comparing a match between two legendary wrestlers and then these two?
It's not comparing. I'm just saying at the level where you have legends fight, right, at their prime without championship belts. You don't need to see Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns without any championships and still fight and give the best quality. They can still main event without a championship belt. That's all I'm saying. They're that good. They're the top two superstars in the business right now.
Frank, you agree with that? You look like you were maybe going to shake that off.
No, I don't agree with that. I think that if these two fight,
yeah, I agree with Frank. Okay. If you could believe that,
you're saying that they have to have a championship belt in order to make it even better.
I think that's what makes a match. That's what's going to make the match for, especially when you have these comments being said by Seth Rollins. If Roman's doing what I'm doing, then there's no need for another belt. Pretty much what he's saying is that Roman Reigns doesn't fight, right?
Right.
That's what he's saying.
So what you're telling me is that Roman Reigns will hold the belt all the way until WrestleMania 40. If for some odd reason Rollins is going to scoot over to SmackDown, and then he's going to dethrone Roman Reigns.
That could happen.
Okay. I'm gonna save it right there. That's an argument for a later time. Okay. Yes. Hey, new factions is about to start with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Is this the Hurt Business 2.0?
I think so.
I think it's going to be a different name.
That way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's not the Hurt Business 2.0.
Well, this is going to be better than Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. But that might bring them over and have a rivalry.
Yeah. That could happen. Just throw Brock Lesnar in the mix too. Why not, right?
Nah. MVP and what's his name? That big tall dude, that's
Almost.
7'4",
Where is almost? I haven't seen him in a while.
and we haven't seen MVP either. Just saying, maybe
I'd
they're
love
making
to
that
see.
comeback.
I'd love to see Brock Lesnar mixing it up with this crew.
Brock Lesnar mixing up. Brock Lesnar don't mix with nobody. He's by himself, man. Look, he even backstabbed Cody Rhodes for a tag team match. So, and that's part 3 coming up in SummerSlam. Matter of fact, that was our next slide right here. How
Look at
about
that.
that? So, this is a scenario that happened on Monday Night Raw where here he is. I was going to say Bobby Lashley. Oh my God, Brock Lesnar accepted the challenge. This is going to be part 3. Both of them 1-1, and this is going to be the closing chapter between these two superstars.
I think Cody Rhodes did win that one.
100%. Cody Rhodes wins, and his next chapter will be trying to chase the world title.
Another former wrestler kid's son.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
well, isn't it interesting? Again, just sort of to see for some of them the level that their dads were at, and some of them are, bypassing that. I think most of them are bypassing it. I think being a legacy wrestler, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here. Maybe I'm totally out of my element, but it seems like these guys probably get into it younger because they get the opportunity at a younger age because of their father's connections. And I would assume even some of them have learned where maybe their fathers came up short, and you take the better road to better success. I'm shocked to see all these familiar names.
Well, Dusty Rhodes is a Hall of Famer,
right?
And he did so much for the business, helped start NXT and everything else. And seeing Cody Rhodes, he did start with WWE. He left the organization for whatever reason happened. I know there was conflicts and stuff, but for him, he is special because he went ahead and did something that everyone doubted him he could do, and that was help start up AEW. Okay, he helped start that up. And yeah, there was a lot of backlash because I think it was more towards Triple H. But if you notice that everything's about business, and he succeeded in the business, and now he let that go to come back to the WWE and be where he's at. He made a name for himself. He is not the shadow of his father or his brother. He is his own right now. And you got to give mad respect to Cody Rhodes for his accomplishments. But this match here coming up, you're going to see why he is the American Nightmare, and he's going to put some on it on Brock Lesnar, guaranteed.
He doesn't live in his dad's shadows, because he doesn't. He's followed his dad's footsteps. He has.
Right.
Okay. The problem, his first go around in WWE was that he was not happy with the character that he was playing. They had him going all over the place, building, being different characters, and he wanted to have his own. So when he left,
and that was temporarily because he was, I think, a 6-time Intercontinental Champion. Then he got surpassed by The Miz, if I'm not mistaken. And what ruined everything, he became Stardust.
Well, because they made a team with his brother, Goldust.
Yeah,
so
but
they put that
didn't,
team together for a bit, and
that
didn't work.
It was crazy.
That was a crazy character, and I think that's what for him it drew the line, saying, "No, I'm not doing this." And that's when he decided, "Okay, well, I'm done here," and he left. And he did a name for himself. And I'll tell you, not sure if you ever saw the first episode of AEW.
I saw the first premium or the pay-per-view event. I saw that.
Right, I think, and that's where he came out with the sledgehammer and the chair that Triple H has, and he
bashed the hell out of it.
He bashed the crap out of it.
But what led to that is the independent scenes. Cody Rhodes came to the state of Connecticut to wrestle. He wrestled at Northeast Wrestling. And knowing the history that was dating back in 2009 when it was first established here, and all these, there's numerous amount of WWE superstars that went through Northeast Wrestling. And I can understand how and why AEW came about, because now you got that corporation, and I know we're getting out of topic here. That AEW allows their superstars to go to different platforms and wrestle and still return, unlike WWE, that once your contract with WWE, you're stuck with WWE. You can't do nothing else.
Yeah,
And
and that's
Cody
I think
Rhodes took that and he excelled, giving other people opportunities to be on television and everything else. So yeah, I like that. I really do. And this match, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna like it all the way, just because it's Brock Lesnar, and this match is not gonna last long. It's not.
Brock doesn't
Is
do
that
long
because
matches.
Brock's like 100 years old and beaten to death?
There's not a match that Brock Lesnar has done that lasted for like 20 minutes. This is a 10-minute or less match, guaranteed,
Yeah,
guaranteed. Yep. But
Has
hey,
he been wrestling, by the way, Brock Lesnar? Is he, or is he just like a character?
he comes in and out. He's a part-time wrestler. He has a new look. He has a ponytail. He's a cowboy now.
I love it.
Yeah. And it fits right in with him, by the way. And he's able to talk on the mic like a pro.
Oh,
He's
he's
not.
always listen. I'll tell you this. I was not a fan of Brock Lesnar first time he showed up in WWE. When he showed up in the UFC,
Mhm.
I know a lot of people were haters. I
Yeah.
love this guy. I thought he
Yes.
was so fantastic. And until he got hurt, man, he was a force to be reckoned with. And now that he's back to wrestling, I love that. And again, he's just I mean, when he was in the UFC, his shit talking skills reached new heights. He was the only
It's
guy
not
in
scripted.
UFC. He was the only guy in UFC that was like literally doing real shit talking. And
Mhm.
now that to see him back in this element, I think I'd like to see more guys in that situation where, again, I mean, The Undertaker is my all-time number one. And I mean, I think he was at the point really where things were pretty bad in the ring. I mean, physically, it was just getting hard to do, but he's such an amazing character and such an amazing presence that they don't need to be in the ring, right?
Mm.
Like that's for the young guys. That's for like these wrestlers' kids to be doing that stuff. These guys, I like that he's still a part and he's still present in this because he really is. He's a character and a half, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he is. He is.
yes.
And I think his window is closing pretty soon. There's so much that he could do. And again, he comes around when there's the actual moment, like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumbles. Those are the
I
areas where he comes.
assume, right? I mean, Cody Rhodes needs a big win like this over the legendary Brock Lesnar. That sort of cements the
Well, that will
legacy.
cement his legacy to go after the world title. He failed against Roman Reigns, but then again, Roman Reigns cheated to get this victory.
He
Because
got help.
he almost had him.
Frank,
He almost
I've
had
been
him.
watching wrestling since the 80s. All right. I mean, the early 80s. I can pretty much, look, there's two ways the bad guys win. One of them is cheating, and the second way is outside interference, also cheating.
Yes,
That's the
I just call
storyline
that
of
hell.
wrestling.
I just call that
Absolutely.
extra hell.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched wrestling in a good 5 or 6 years, and yet still I could probably tell you how that all went down.
Probably. They
Right?
haven't
It
changed
wouldn't
much.
it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to tell you the referee clearly wasn't looking at some point,
Oh,
right?
or the referee,
Somebody
referee
slid
gets knocked
something
out,
into the
right?
ring. Yeah, a bonk, a donk. And the referee always wakes up just in time to give you the quick 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that
absolutely.
doesn't change.
When the good guy does something, the referee wakes up and you know how he's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, look, you've got him pinned. I should start counting.
Yeah,
1,
absolutely.
2, oh, he kicked
The
out. Didn't
slowest
see
3
that
count
coming.
ever. Yes.
That's why I love wrestling. But I'll tell you what, look, I mean, I'm just Hulk Hogan's win over the Iron Sheik. That was great. That was a big moment. But you know what did it for me? When he fought Sergeant Slaughter.
Why is that?
It's a bigger deal. Just a bigger deal. You know what I mean? Like there's something Hulk Hogan beating and slamming Andre the Giant. That was like the crazy dude. And what was that? 87, 88, whatever year that was. Up
That was
until that.
WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, bro, that was the craziest thing that ever happened in my life. Hulk, because Frank, like you, at the time, I was 13. I thought this was real. And it blew my mind. Like, holy crap, dude! Like, he got the Giant up and he slammed him. And then I was just watching a video the other day. I guess like Andre the Giant like gave the thumbs up to Vince to like, yeah, Hogan's gonna have to slam me in this one, because he just knew that was gonna be the moment where he was the immortal Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Yep.
again,
That's
the
how he
Iron
got his
Sheik-
name. Absolutely.
Beating the Iron Sheik was huge because, and people that you don't understand, historically speaking, we had just had a big issue with Iran. And so, right, the Iron Sheik, who's not Iranian, is that right? Is that fake?
He is from the Middle East.
He is? All right,
Yeah.
that's good.
But he's not Iranian though. He's not.
Yeah, of course not.
No,
Dude,
but-
when I found
right.
out Tito Santana was from like South Texas, boy, was I pissed.
Why?
You know? Because
You
he's
thought
the-
he was from Mexico?
Yes, he's like a superstar. He's like the patron saint of Mexico, and it's like he's not really from here.
No, he
He's
even
from
made
a
up the
made-up
city.
village.
Yeah.
But again, I'm telling you, to me as a 13-year-old kid, the beating of the Iron Sheik was great.
Mhm.
But it was really it was beating Andre the Giant that really cemented the greatness. And so clearly, look, Cody Rhodes beats Brock Lesnar. It's a huge win. And then you're set up to go win a championship. Like then you're like the guy.
Right. Absolutely.
Classic.
And
This is
you gotta,
classic
You gotta take
WWE.
steps to make yourself relevant for a title shot, and that's exactly what's gonna happen on
Yeah.
SummerSlam.
And funny,
Absolutely.
when Cody Rhodes went over there
Mhm.
to what is that? AEW?
AEW, yeah.
That did catch my attention because Sting showed up over there. Chris Jericho. They had a pretty. Is that still going on? AEW? Or
Yes, it's still going. Matter of fact, they're coming to the Hartford Excel Center. Matter of fact, this Saturday or next Saturday, they have a show here. And you know what? How much tickets are?
A
The most
lot.
expensive ticket is $50.
What?
Yes.
No kidding.
And there are plenty of seats. Plenty of seats. So if you haven't made that purchase, the XL Center is hosting AEW. I believe it's this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe next Saturday. So
Frank is like
It's,
$50.
AEW Collision.
Frank is
Yeah.
like $50.
it's
is
a
what
Friday
I make.
night, ain't it? A Friday night?
That's
I'm
2
sorry,
days worth of
that's
pay
on
at the
Saturday.
car wash.
It's a Saturday?
Oh my God. The car wash.
There you go.
No. Oh my God. I left the car wash. What are you talking about? I'm at the dry cleaners now.
Oh man. So hey,
I
check
almost
this
forgot
out.
about that,
We
Frank.
gotta go straight to our takeaway, but to finish off, Becky Lynch versus Zoe Stark is gonna happen on Monday Night Raw. That is a stipulation. If she wins, she goes after Trish Stratus.
What?
Yes, Joe, Trish Stratus is back.
How is that even possible? Is this the same Trish Stratus?
Yes, it's the same
yes.
one. Yes.
And she's
Yes,
looking
it
hotter
is.
than ever.
Oh, she's so beautiful. I
We got a
love her.
fatal four-way. The winner of this fatal four, which is Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, the one that wants to shoot the moon, and LA Knight, they're gonna go against Santos.
This looks like
Santos
an updated
Escobar.
version of the Village People.
Yeah. So and then the winner of that will go for the United States Championship. But check this out. Here's what I like right here. Kevin Nash. Okay. Kevin Nash was talking smack about LA Knight on his podcast. It was like he's a wannabe Stone Cold Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock, because the way his demeanor is, the way he talks. And then he later said, if LA Knight if the people, if he's chosen, if he's the chosen one, if he's the people's champion, then he is the people's champion. It doesn't blah 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 matter to me. If the segment do a number and that blah 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 helps the WWE, which I'm a stockholder, and it makes my buddy Paul, which is Triple H, easier to get over the dude, then it is what it is. It was just one of those things where I don't watch SmackDown. So, dude, I didn't know who the F you were, and I apologized. But some of us that are into professional wrestling actually watch sports, watch film, occasionally read a book. I do other things besides watching wrestling. There's a 394 hours of wrestling on television a week. I just can't do it. So Kevin Nash is apologizing for all the comments he made about LA Knight. But I still got a feeling that this guy has to make an appearance at SummerSlam. And because of this, I'm going to go back. The United States champion, Austin Theory, I believe he's going to defend his title against LA Knight. And LA Knight is going to win.
I think you might be right.
I'm always right, man. When am I ever wrong?
What's Big Sexy's finishing move? What was his move? Is he a choke slam guy?
The power bomb.
The power bomb.
The power bomb.
So now I mean, and listen, this guy's one of my all-time favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I only ever gave a crap about WCW because of Diesel. Okay. I'd love to see him power bomb that dude, but I don't think he can he can't do anything. I don't think he's got the ability to lift another human being up.
Not right now.
I don't think right now.
Which means best case scenario, he would get beat up.
Well, I don't know, man. This dude is tall still.
If Nash showed up, I would think that he would be there to take a beating because he could fall and protect himself. He can't fight, right? He's too beat up to fight.
He could give him a boot to the face.
Could he get I was thinking that, but
dude,
could he
this
even
guy
get
is so tall and heavy.
Head?
I doubt anyone would try to do something to him.
I might be mistaken, but I think in was it one of Nash's last fights with Undertaker, and it was a shit show. Like they were carrying each other. Nobody could. Am I wrong?
No, that one was Triple H. Triple H and Shawn Michaels versus the Undertaker, and I forgot who else was involved, but it was definitely not so good. It was.
And again, that's my fear about these guys. Mm-hmm. But like again in AEW, they brought Sting in.
Sting wasn't still in shape though.
But he wasn't there to fight. He generally showed up with a baseball bat, and everybody would just run. And it was like, this is awesome. This is Sting. I don't need him to kick anyone's ass. I don't want to see Sting get jumped and get beaten because he can't do the things he used to do. I just want to see him.
Right.
Him walking into a ring with a baseball bat and everyone scattering and then the show ending is awesome. Like that, I'm down for that. I love Kevin Nash. My fear is I don't know that if he showed up, Frank, I don't know that he'd be able to do anything physically is all I'm saying. And I don't know.
He might lay a punch or so.
I would love that. I suppose he could, right? I mean, if they got, you could throw a sucker punch, whatever the case, maybe they go at it a little bit. But I mean, as far as like, it would be cool to see him like go up and like apologize and then slap that dude into a power bomb.
That'd be great. That'd be a great signature move.
Wouldn't that be amazing? And yes. I'm just saying I don't think he'd be able to pull that off, which sucks.
We'll wait and see on that one, man. But hey, still the comment is
not for nothing. The Rock will be able to show up anywhere till he's like 70, because let's face it, like that the rock bottom. He could do the rock bottom when he's 97 years old. He'd be able to rock bottom one of the McMahons, right? He'd be able to slap that on anybody. That's not even a move. You just kind of fall forward and push the other guy down. You'll be able to do that till you're 100. Power bomb's a different move. The Rock has it right. Not to mention the people's elbow.
Yeah,
he could be a really old man with bad hips, and he'll still be able to drop that people's elbow.
Yeah, jump
You know,
right on top of them and still
That was
land with a
smart.
cushion. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Still to come is the takeaway, and the takeaway is about Shotzi. Stay tuned. So the takeaway is brought to you by Landon Hale, and I will put in Landon Hale later on after this segment. Um, but this one here is going to probably hit with all of us, and that is Shotzi. Now in SmackDown, Bayley and Io Sky had their little segment, and on their way over to the ramp, um, Shotzi came on and did a promo, and as you can see on the screen, she's holding the clippers. And the clipper is, you know, she's lashing out at what happened a couple of weeks ago where she got her hair cut by Bayley. And Bayley's actions was just like a bully. And we always, and you hear on the news about people being bullied in school, bullying in the workplace. There's no room for that. None whatsoever. Okay. She kept on saying, thoughts about intimidation because that's exactly what bullies do, right? They like to intimidate people. They want the others to feel scared or to be in control. And Shotzi kept saying, I'm in control. I'm in control. Okay. Do you think I'm scared? Do you think you could control me? And of course, all those words kept repeating and repeating. And I dawned on my, and I said to myself, you know what? This is important because if she's going through this, there are many people out there that's going through the same thing. Okay. And yeah, people they could look weird. They do different things, or maybe they're not like you or anything else. But really, there is no excuse whatsoever for anyone to feel bullied, or for even that anyone to feel unsafe. And that's why I got Frank and Joe, man. We have to talk about this because this is very important, very indeed. Um, there is no room for bullies.
You know what's interesting, Ovi? You were telling me about this storyline yesterday. Ovi said he wanted me to come on the show, and I after you told me about this and you said we were going to talk about it, I went and I tried to look this up, and I wrote in WWE woman haircut, and I got to tell you, you guys watch wrestling. That happens a lot. Going back to the mid 2000s, I came across all sorts of videos where that's a pretty common situation in the WWE. And again, generally it's right. It's one of these ladies is kind of bullying the other one. And it's funny too, the announcers, no matter who it is on which of the shows it is, they as one woman is having her hair cut or shaved by the other one, they talk about how humiliating it is, right? The idea, and ultimately that is what this is, right? If you were really to pin somebody down and cut their hair, that's pretty messed up.
I
You
think this
know?
it's more than just bullying. That's an
Oh,
assault.
that it is an assault. I
Mhm.
mean, that is my God, it's not unlike rape. You're completely violating somebody, I mean, it's torturous to do that to somebody, especially somebody like me that values their hair.
Absolutely. Let me put the picture up again. This is the promo that the picture where before she cut the rest of her hair. And what's so it's I'm a loss of words real quick. What is so awesome is the statement that she used. She owns who she is, no matter how she presents herself. So she owns her. You know, it's like you own yourself. I own myself. Nobody else. And who are you to dictate about me? Who are you to change who I am? I am me, right? And again, bullying does happen, and it's weird because even as an educator, you know, I preach and preach and preach to the little ones. There's no room for it. There's always ways to be able to express yourself without offending other people. You know what I mean? But this hate, this act, it was too much. And I know, I understand that this is a storyline, but in reality, that does happen in real life. Okay, and each state has laws that protects the victims. And again, here it is that there is no federal law that specifically applies to bullying. In some cases, when bullying is based on race or ethnicity, color, national origin, sex, disability, or religion, bullying overlaps with harassment, and schools are legally obligated to address it. Here in state of Connecticut, they have to address it. They have to call the authorities. Okay. State and local lawmakers have taken action to prevent bullying and protect children. Each jurisdictions, including all the 50 states, even Washington, D.C., and other U.S. territories, address bullying differently. Okay. It's important to say that because not a lot of people are aware of that, and people are still scared to not step up, to not say something. Even those that even surround and witness it, some of those people are afraid to say something because they don't want to be retaliated. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you're just as guilty if you see something like that and don't do nothing about it.
Well, I'm actually glad that you brought this topic up because I'm actually dealing with something along these lines right now. My son's in his third week at camp, and the last 2 days at camp, he really he kind of threw a little tantrum in the morning, getting ready. He clearly didn't want to go. So this morning I drove him in, and I said, son, I feel like you're not really enjoying camp. And it took some coaxing, but he eventually told me he was being bullied. We pulled up, and all of the kids at dance camp were sitting in a huge circle out front. And I said, tell me who's bullying you. And he said, see right there next to the counselor, see the little girl with the pink backpack and the pigtails? It's that bitch.
Damn.
I'm not even kidding you. Yeah, my son is being bullied by a little girl with pigtails. And yeah, it's a real thing. And it was, it's taken some of the joy out of this experience. And I know that doesn't seem like your classic scenario for bullying, but just to see him not want to go to dance camp this morning, it made me sad. He enjoys that a lot.
Damn. But bullying,
I mean,
there's no how you say it? There's no size, no bullying. It hides. You know what I mean? Like you
it
wouldn't
comes in
like
different shape and
in my
sizes.
experience, right? There you go. And the thing is that I'd be like, how are you a bully? And then I'm trying to imagine stuff how I was when I was in school. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
we used to handle things in the woodlines in the back of the school or after school. I'll see you across the street off the school grounds and you don't see that anymore, which
Yeah.
we
Tell me
can't
though you
promote
didn't see
violence.
that.
You know what I
Tell me
mean?
you didn't see the end of my story coming there. You didn't know it
Look,
was pink backpack and pigtails, did you? You
No,
didn't see that
I did
coming.
not. But then
Yeah.
that's why I kept saying it comes in different because
Yeah. That's why I
not
waited till the
it's
end to
not
mention it was
it's
dance
not
camp.
physical. All right. It's not physical.
Yeah, right. That's the whole
Right.
thing. It
It's
doesn't
the
have to be a big
words.
shout out, by the way, to
Right.
my man Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Derek
Hey,
Morris,
what's
cool
up,
dude.
Derek Morris? The struggle
Um,
is real. You're
and he
absolutely right.
knows. Derek
Mhm.
knows. I mentioned Crimes, Conspiracies, and Beyond. He knows, and he knows me from that show. This is Derek. These guys, I don't know if you've had a chance to check out the HHW show before, but Frank and OV, and there's another dude named Victor, but he's not here tonight.
Here we go. Man, Hector's gonna have a blast next week. But
I miss him. I wish he was here.
But
I wish he was here because I'll tell you what, I never botch his name when we're together.
Right. So the ending.
No, wait, I only botch his name when we're together. Never mind.
To the ending.
Look, I'm
But
gonna
hey,
tell
listen,
you-
I did some research on this, and I know Frank was going to say something, but Andrea Brandt is one a psychologist, and I got this from BetterHelp.com. They don't tolerate some parts of your personality, and the gimmick of Shotzi, her personality is it's crazy. It could be psycho-ish, it could be whatever, right? But everybody's different. Okay. You don't have to be friends with them if you don't want to. You know, everybody's human. But here she continues to say people who do not love themselves or feel pride in their identity may feel uncomfortable around others who do. If you have an aspect of your identity that you're proud of, they may choose to bully you for it. They may also target your identity because certain prejudices have been passed down through their family, social media, or news source. This type of bullying, which targets race, gender, physical disability, or sexual orientation, is often considered a hate crime and may be reported to the authorities. And again, going back to the scenario in the WWE when Bayley and Io Sky went ahead and attacked Shotzi the way they did it, assaulted her, cut her hair, and stuff like that. You mean that's nonsense. And right there, that is hate. You know, authorities should be involved. And I know that's storytelling and everything else, which, you know, in the later run, we'll probably see Shotzi versus Bayley in a ring. But in reality, if you are coming, or if you're experience something like this, please ask for help. Get someone, get a trusted adult. If you're in school, a teacher, principal, whoever, a trusted adult, and address the situation. Because if you stay quiet, things are going to get worse. And believe me, you don't want to ask for help when it's already too late. You could have done something a long time ago. All right. And for your son, Joe, and everything else, glad sometimes people need that extra motivation. And as an adult, as someone outside, and you know someone and their attitude has changed, it's okay to ask, hey, how you doing? You okay? It's simple, you know? And if you feel like that person is not engaged or whatever case may be, they're different, it's okay to say, hey, you know, I think something's wrong with this student. And there are students out there are people out there that have done that. And it's very, very, very helpful.
I'm going to just say one thing on this.
Go ahead.
I've always told my son, if you're getting pushed around, push back. If it means that you got to pop in the mouth, you pop in the mouth. If they kick your ass, it happens. But they're not going to come back to you again. Because why? Because you stood up to them. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do in all scenarios.
No.
Honestly, Frank, I'll tell you why I think that's excellent advice. Because if your kid's getting pushed around, they're probably going to get their ass kicked anyway. Mm-hmm. You might as well throw that punch, hit somebody as hard as you can in school detention or whatever might happen. Frank's right. Once you punch a bully in the face, they're not coming back to you. That's for sure. They're moving on. You know, again, you just sort of hit the nail on the head with that line by Lane Bryant or whoever it was. Ultimately, these are people that don't feel good about themselves. And they're picking on someone that they think represents something that they don't like, someone who's got a lot of confidence. You know, I was somebody that bullies didn't care for back in my younger day because I had a great air of confidence. And anytime a bully got in my face, I was quick to violence. You know, I'll punch you as hard as I can in the nuts. And I guarantee that shit's over. That shit's over today. You're not coming back at me. Right. I had another dude who kept trying to start with me, and I was trying to be cool about it. Eventually I turned around and I knocked him clear across the room with an overhand right and then pounced on him. And from that day forward, that was my sophomore year of high school, nobody ever fucked with me again. And I don't, listen, I wasn't the toughest guy on the planet, but my reaction to go right to fisticuffs kind of signaled to the other bullies like, yeah, that's not the right guy to pick on. So,
yeah, right.
There again,
they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, look, those dudes aren't looking for a fight. They're looking for a situation that they can control. And so, again, if your kid's the one getting bullied, their best bet is to be uncontrollable, unpredictable. If I think you're going to be a pussy and you step up and you're all up back in my face, I'm like, whoa, dude, all right, slow down. They're not looking for a fight. They're looking for somebody who they can handle, who they think they can control. And when you prove to them that you can't, generally speaking, they're going to move on.
I like to read some of these comments real quick. I like this one, and then I'll get to you my answer to counter you guys. The hardest part about bullying is getting the kids, the victims, to reach out. A lot of times they feel like it's their fault what is happening to them. Ryan says, amen. And Ryan continues to say, same Joe. I used to fight back those bullies, either back off or gain respect for me for not backing down. And you're right. And I'm gonna use Ryan as an example of his statement because the same thing happened to me. I was being bullied in kindergarten and first grade. And one time I was getting chased out of the school, right? By this damn kid. And my brother saw it. And my brother was 6 years older than me. Okay. So if I was 6, he was like 12 years old, right? And he goes, how come you didn't fight back? I'll tell you what, if that happens again, I'm gonna kick your ass. And I'm gonna tell mom and dad because mom and dad taught us that no one messes with us. Okay. That was the rule in the house. It doesn't matter if you got in trouble in school, as long as you didn't start it, but to tell the truth. Now, that was back in the days. You're talking about the 80s and the 90s. Today is a little bit different now. The world's changed. Now you're dealing with bullies on social media. Okay. People talking smack, whether it's Snapchat, TikTok, or whatever all the other apps are. And believe me, as an educator, finding out other apps that kids talk to, even secretly through Roblox and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. They come to school, they bring the drama to the school. Okay. And then when they're out in recess or they're out doing other things and activities, and all of a sudden there's issues, and that's a fight that teachers, right? The educators have to deal with. We don't got room for that. Right. But if you connect, and the one that comment says is that, kids have a hard time reaching out. If the educator can't connect with those kids, as I have done in mine, that they will come up and be like, hey, I got a problem. Because they know, they trust you. Okay. They trust you because you're open and they're not being naive. They're not being like, oh, go sit down or do what it is or whatever, or just dodge it. You know what I mean? Because there are those as well. Not everyone's created equal when it comes to situations like this. But if they're connected and be able, and knowing that there is no ramification, there's no how you say it, like they're being protected, like they have to establish that safe zone, then they will come out and communicate.
Frank actually shared with me a story about when he was in middle school. He was getting picked on. Now, mind you, he was driving himself to middle school every day. He was 16, and those kids were brutal. And eventually, Frank ended up kicking all of their asses because they were 12 and he was an adult. Tell him that story, Frank.
You're kidding me, man. Come on, man.
Joe,
Wait,
Joe,
you in
I
high
said that in
school.
pure confidence to you, man. Can't believe you just threw me under the bus.
Yeah, I didn't
know,
know that wasn't meant to be shared with others.
hey, you know what? Bottom line is, and when I said I was going to counterattack, is that two wrongs don't make it right. I know you guys said, hey, if they hit you back and stuff like that. But two
Now,
wrongs don't
listen,
make it right.
no, hold on. Listen,
Mhm.
and I think it's important to say that, Ovi, because listen, and I'm not suggesting violence, and my apologies for making a joke about Frank in the middle of a serious topic, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't. I literally, as you were
You're
talking, I
gonna help
thought,
yourself, right?
I got to
No,
do this. I've got to do it, and I'm doing it. And
right.
you know why? Because I won't back down. I won't. The man's not going to tell me what to do and what's appropriate. You know, that's where I'm at. But I'm not suggesting the violence. And the only reason I would even say again, and it's sort of like what Ryan said, if you don't stand up to the bully, and when I say stand up, I mean you have to be willing to throw a punch.
But do
That
you
person,
really?
you
Depe-
listen,
Listen,
Ovi,
90% of the
no,
time.
you have to be prepared to throw a punch. Okay. I'm going to stand up to you as a bully. And I understand, though, that in making my stand,
Mhm.
I might have to throw a punch. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. Like, I remember my daughter was getting bullied in 8th grade, like, all jokes aside. And I was basically like, dude, get in that chick's face. Okay.
Yeah.
If the moment comes, though, and she gets into your personal space, understand that she's violated your personal space. It's time to start throwing punches. I
That is true.
assume, right?
I'm
Now,
not saying
listen,
no. I'm not
if you
saying.
stand up to that
Mhm.
bully and that bully calls your bluff, you're going to get your ass kicked. So that's why I say be prepared for violence.
Right.
More than likely, just the act of standing up, that should probably get, again, because the bully doesn't feel in control anymore. And that's
Mhm.
what this is about for them. Again, understand a lot of these kids are abused sexually, physically, mentally, maybe all three facets of that.
Right.
And so they're looking for a situation that they can control. And again, when your kid isn't predictably like, don't beat me up, tough guy, please. When your kid shows any sort of like, you know what, fuck it, today's the day, man, I'm ready to throw down, like suddenly the bully's like, enough of you, and off they go. So
Mhm.
be prepared for violence. I'm not suggesting they partake in it. I'm just saying you got to be prepared, because if they don't buy the bluff, then you're gonna have to throw down. But and my point to this, OV, was you're probably gonna get beat up if you don't do this. So you might as well bring you, if you're the one that sort of initiates that fight, there
Right.
probably won't be a rematch. This will probably be a one and done, and now that person's gonna move on to the next person.
I'm willing
Absolutely.
to say that 90% of the times when you step up to that bully, in whichever way, shape, or form you want to step up to, they're gonna back down.
But
Okay,
not
but
everyone has that courage, Frank.
I understand that, but
Mhm.
that courage comes from home. Okay, because when you look at my kid, he's the smallest one in all his friends. All right, and I've always told him, hey, you all your friends, you do this too. You're the run of the pack.
That's
Someone's
because
gonna come
he's
at you.
also 5'2".
Well, yeah, he's 5'3". Okay, but I tell him, be prepared. And when someone steps to you, you need to step back. You need to be that pit bull on them, and they're gonna step back. If they don't, get ready to hit them, and then they will step back.
You say get ready to hit them and stuff like that, and like I said, is like two wrongs don't make it right, but there's a way where you can avoid situation like that if you speak up, right? Because all that could be violence could be prevented, you know. And if you don't teach them how to handle things at the lowest level, and all you think is like if it's just punch, 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 and do whatever, well, we're not really teaching them like use your words first. And yes, the last resort is violence. And I know, Joe, you said that right. You know, the last resort is always violence. But what I need to hear is saying, use your words. They don't listen or whatever it is. Speak to someone. Talk to someone. You're in school, talk to a teacher. If that teacher don't do nothing, that teacher's gonna get in trouble, you
Here,
know.
let's
But
wait here a minute.
again, I mean, we're gonna go through all these scenarios, and I know, and I totally understand, but I gotta get to this close real quick. And I got you, Frank. I'll let you go ahead. Squeeze one in real quick. Go ahead.
Watch this. Okay, so he tells the teacher.
He what?
Teacher calls us. He tells the teacher. He talks to
Okay.
the teacher. Hey, I'm being bullied by so and so, right? Teacher
Right.
calls in the kid, right? Guess what? Now this kid's all pissed off. Comes up to him. Hey, what the hell are you doing? You're telling on me. You're telling on me. Now what?
No, but it doesn't work that way.
I don't know, man.
That's the old school method of handling things when you talk to the teacher. Today, that's not how you handle the situation. There's more people involved. Teachers are not psychiatrists, they're not social workers. And when I say that is that when the situation arises, there are more teachers and more staff involved, and parents do get notified right away.
Oh
The
yeah.
teacher will report it, whatever, but that social worker, the principal, the school psychiatrist, everyone gets involved, to deal with that matter, and they have to speak to both. All the parties involved will be talked to and be notified to the parents or the guardians. There is no more like, hey, come here, hero. Why you do that for, or blah 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 blah. It's just none of that right now, because now there are steps, there are procedures in handling bullying. Okay. And I know we got that mentality. Oh, well, back in the days we used to do that and it was worse. It's not the same though, because now everything's in writing. Everything's in writing. And believe it or not, man, I had one. He had a rap sheet all the way since kindergarten. Okay. I'm just saying, everything's in writing, because when they see a pattern of behavior, the state gets involved. And
Well, not for nothing, but
I can only say what it is here in my state. I don't know how it is in Florida, but it's a serious deal here.
typically
It,
speaking, if your kid's a bully, it's because you're an asshole. I mean, you can almost always trace it back to the parent, right? The parent whose kid's spouting off racist comments at school is a racist. And the kids are learning the
They're
behavior
learning
that
all
they
that
see
stuff from
at
home.
home. So
Right.
if your kid is an asshole, you could bet it's probably because you also are
oh, now.
an asshole.
Yeah. And then they come with surprise, like, not my child.
Yeah.
No. We do this at home. Whatever, dude. No, sorry. But you know what though? In the scenario with Shotzi, where she lost her mind and started cutting her hair and everything else, there was a real purpose. Now, this is the real deal. All right. Her sister is battling cancer. And for the big support of that, she went ahead and cut her hair. I had a relative that did the same thing, and there's a pack of females that got together, and they all went bald to support the fight for cancer. All right, this is her again. I think that's her younger sister. Uh, Believe me, I don't know her name, but I was following up on the story. Okay, and this is what she wrote on Instagram. She said, didn't know when or how I would announce this, but here it goes. In 2022, if there was anything I could say about 2020, it would be that it was not my year. 2020 gave me so much pain. I thought 2021 was bad, but sheesh, 2022 takes the cake. So much stress and pain was a part of this year. In December, I got sick, pretty severe stomach pain and other symptoms, which led me to going to the hospital to help multiple times. They couldn't really figure out what was wrong with my stomach, so I had to get a CT done. When I got the CT, it turns out what was wrong with my stomach was minor and easy fix. But during that CT scan, they found a mass on my liver. After some tests and procedures to my biopsy on my mass on my liver, it turns out it was a cancerous tumor. Literally, that last couple of days of December, right before New Year's Eve, I was diagnosed with cancer. She went on to say, I didn't think 2020 can get any worse, but yes, for me, it was way worse. I'm lucky enough to have caught it at an earlier stage. What it made me realize is that I want to live. Life is precious. I have so much life to live. It also made me realize how many people I have that love me. My friends
Mhm.
and family have been so good to me, so supportive, so loving, and so uplifting. I'm so grateful to have these people in my life. She went on to say, I am going to live. I'm not letting this defeat me. I'm taking 2023 and it's going to be my year. I'm coming back as the most healthy me I ever been in my life. Remember to take care of yourselves and always listen to your body. Go to the doctors. It could save your life. Watch me kick cancer in the ass. Hashtag fuck cancer. Now that was very, very touching. And listen, and of course, Joe, like it was really, really shocking to hear that you had that heart attack, and I found out late because nobody really like I remember I text you and your daughter was answering. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And anyhow, when I learned about it, I was like, really? I'm gonna find this out a couple of days later, you know, like let me know. And of course, reaching out and be like, hey, if you need something, holla at me. I'm here, whatever. The hell with podcasting. I don't even care anymore about podcasting. What I need is Joe to get well, you know. And I know that these superstars and Shotzi got a lot of messages from other superstars, and they had a GoFundMe page to help raise to pay the expenses and stuff. And I volunteered. I did my part. I'm not rich, but a little bit of money there will help, right?
You know what,
But
too, though, like she said, and I think
mhm,
this is so important. This is such an important message in what she said. Listen to your body.
right.
If something, look, you know yourself better than anybody. If something feels off, and again, in my case, I had a heart attack, and 3 weeks later, I was slowly dying. And I knew by that third week, I was like, boy, this does not feel. I think something bad happened here, and I finally went to the hospital, and saved my life. So, if you think maybe, again, I was like, oof, felt like I had a heart attack there for a minute. I did. And so if you're, again, it's funny. My heart attack happened right around the time of Damar Hamlin, the football player from the
Yeah.
Bills.
Right.
And right, like I thought that's what a heart attack was. And in fact, what he had is called cardiac arrest. That's where your heart stops pumping. And typically you're gonna drop like he did. I had a heart attack. And what I learned, and what I've been telling a lot of people since I went through that situation is I had shortness of breath for about 20 minutes.
Wow.
But I eventually splashed some water in my face, caught my breath, and then carried about my day. I in a million years didn't realize that is what a heart attack is. And so if you ever have pain in your chest, and by the way, it's not just on the left side, I can tell you that. I felt it in the back of my right shoulder,
Hmm.
which again didn't seem to jive out with what I thought a heart attack was. So if you're ever feeling super messed up, go see a doctor. And it's expensive sometimes, but you're the longer you wait, the worse things generally get. So, like she said, go see the doctors.
Yeah, she caught it in the earliest stage
That's the key.
possible, and
I'll
we'll
tell you
see what
right now,
happens. Yeah.
Ovi, it's funny. At one point, I went to a walk-in clinic, and after 3 weeks of my situation, this woman said to me, this doctor said, I think you have pneumonia. You have like fluid built up in your chest. And
Hmm.
she was kind of right. What was actually happening was my heart was spilling protein into my lungs.
Oh,
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Had I waited a few more weeks, it would have caused damage to my liver and my other organs, and I could have had permanent damage done to my body. Fortunately, like Frank, I was weak, and I couldn't hold out any longer. Yeah, I
poor
cheap
Frank.
shot at Frank for no reason.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's not often I get these opportunities. Even though Frank does 6 shows a week, he's always like, "Come on whenever you want." He never invites me.
Yeah.
So this is all I get. I get the poke and stab here.
Oh. Nah,
The
but you
poke
know
and
what
stab
though?
is also
I'm
what he
glad
refers to his honeymoon as.
I'm glad that you got there early. I'm glad that you're here today, especially on the birthday or the anniversary of the HHW Show podcast. Because again, uh, if it wasn't for you and the motivation, and everything, that none of this would have been possible. So you continue to follow the doctor's order and stay healthy, my friend.
Well, listen,
Yes.
again, all the kudos goes to you, and I've been excited to come along on your journey. And Frank's even started his own. I know, obviously, he still does this show, but he's got his own thing going on, and he and I have done some
Mhm.
things. And I'm grateful to you guys. Not as much to Jace, not to Jace Garcia, who
Man, leave
basically
that man alone,
Jace
man.
threw us over for a girl. And that's
Oh,
fine. And that's fine. Good
Oh
for him.
no!
I said
he'll
it.
be back.
I
He'll
said
be
it.
back.
Yeah.
He'll be
He'll
back.
never be back.
Ah,
Maybe once they settle in and he stops
yeah,
getting some, probably.
yeah.
But less Jace, but you guys, your consistency in doing this, especially your other friend there, Texas. I can't the name escapes me, but that guy, again, you
Victor.
guys are putting Victor. Thank you.
No.
I knew I tip of my tongue.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
you guys listen, you guys are constantly doing shows. It's very consistent. You're always up in the scales here, and making the show better. And you pull me in on this. I get interested in wrestling every time we talk. I'm almost watching it again. That's how much I appreciate you and what you do. So you keep up the good work.
I appreciate that.
Congratulations on 4 years. Thank you for giving me any sort of credit. I don't deserve any or want any. Um, I'm thrilled that you've been with me almost since basically the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning,
I
2019.
appreciate that. Yeah, dude. I
Yeah,
mean, we've been together and doing this for a really long time. And your loyalty and friendship are more important to me than anything else.
I
So
appreciate
I
that.
I, I
Likewise.
appreciate you, and thanks for bringing this dope into my life as well. I
Well,
knew I knew Frank and I were going to be friends when a couple months into you introducing us, this guy is 1 o'clock in the morning, like a Saturday night, calls me up on the phone, and I'm like, "Is this a
no
joke?"
way.
Yeah, and I answered. He was shit faced, and we talked till what, like
Oh, really?
2:30 in the morning,
Man. So watch
right,
this.
dude?
I think it was one of the pay-per-view events.
No, there
We
wasn't a
did a
pay-per-view event
live
that night.
show right after it was over, and Hector could not be involved. And this guy
Who's
got shit
Hector?
faced. He got shit faced with
Victor.
Crown. I don't know how much Crown he drank.
Oh, I
Had the whole
remember
bottle.
that. I
And
watched.
whole bottle.
I
live
remember
live
watching
on
that.
YouTube, on Facebook, and Twitter, he probably shot I don't know how many times. Where's Hector? Where's Hector? Ah, I was like, oh man. Oh,
I
I
would
couldn't
say,
even I couldn't even talk about a match because he forever wanted Hector.
Obi, about 50% of my phone calls with Frank are him apologizing for being drunk.
Oh,
That dude, I'll tell you something. That messed with me. If you notice, that Tuesday I wasn't on the show. I gave you some bum ass excuse, but I
yeah.
was just so embarrassed because when I went back and I looked at the video and I started seeing the
I'm
comments, I was
glad.
like, oh
I'm
my
glad.
God,
Yes.
I can't
Yes, we
believe
got
Obi even left
evidence.
me on.
We've got evidence.
No, no,
The
no,
thing
no.
is, it's still on here. So I mean, I gotta have
I
to
know it
search through
is.
the library, but it's still there on YouTube. So I'm gonna have to find
Yeah,
it.
no.
Maybe I
That's
could put
on the
some
I'll
music
boot
in the
tell
for
you
you.
when. Was it
background and make a
SummerSlam?
remix.
Yeah.
It was SummerSlam 2 years ago.
All
How
right,
do you
hey
even
guys,
remember that?
thank you guys for being on the show, man. Stand by real quick. Listen, this show, and I know this is probably one of the longest shows that we've had here on the HHW Show podcast. And of course, I'm gonna break down these segments. But the most important thing to get out of this is really two things. One, there's no room for bully. All right, no room whatsoever. So if you know someone or you feel victimized on someone, tell someone, trusted adult or whoever it is. You deserve to be in a safe place. And lastly, if you're not feeling well, you notice something wrong, changes in your body, just don't hesitate to go to the doctors. Life is very important. You are important. And that's the lesson learned that we learned today here on the HHW Show podcast. Tune in and follow us here on the YouTube channel, Facebook, or follow me on Twitter, right? And of course, our website, hhwshow.com. Thank you for listening and take care, everyone. Gotta love some wrestling, right? Oh, yeah.